So we are covering 4 points. First, the credentials. Second, depicting the two brothers, felonies, murderers, and the robbers of my late mother, and they tried to murder me. 3 is the evidence. 4 is the compensation. So my military, I served in the IDF in a very high class service, Riflery 05. I was a commander of a basic training of male soldiers. It was a military police base. Later on, when there was the eviction, or it was in a closed base in a battle area. After the eviction, and also even before, I was also a sport guide of this basic training of the soldiers, and I was later on finished just as a sport guide once they dismantled that base. So this is me, the plaintiffs. My mother, just to depict the scene in the family. My elder sister is Brazilian, adopted without adopting file. My brother is a Muslim. My mom adopted a Muslim brother. And we have, he's supposed to be biological. The blonde, tall blonde is supposed to be my biological brother. I have all my records. I was, my mother couldn't bring kids into the world. There was an operation and fertility treatments of the semen and the egg of my mother, and I was also an incubator girl. You have all the certificates that I belonged and I'm biological of my parents, both British. Sorry, I'm British. My father's British. My mom was Danish. They came to Israel to volunteer and to help. They were very Zionist, to help the Zionist state. My late father served till he was 53. The Muslim tried to do the army. First of all, he was a drug dealer in his youth. Then he went into the army. When I was in the police, he was blamed. The rumor was he was trading with Hezbollah in narcotics. He was a drug dealer before he went into the army. He had very fishy money coming from my mom. As a kid, she said he used to steal from her dollars. And at the age of 12, he used to drive her car. She was in tourism. And we have the banker. He was okay till he dropped out, I guess around the age of 30. The IDF took him out of the pool. I mean, the elder one sat in prison 6. I think he also sat in an ordinary jail. Once he tried to put speeds on his wife. I think she put him in jail. I don't know. He disappeared for a month. Anyway, let's move forward. For many years, they blamed me for being some kind of retarded. They blamed my sister, anything. They blamed that we're not allowed to get our money, but was a lot of violence by them. Mostly, the Muslim used to beat my mom. Anyway, let's say cut short to our evidence. So the claims are they have criminal cases 499-808. This is the one from December 2024. They have a criminal case from July 2024 for theft. The criminal case, the police is 314612. And they have another case of they stole my equipment, trying to eliminate the evidence. I guess they also opened a file for violence, domestic violence against me during the time. So we're talking about around the 2022. My mom is she doesn't feel well. She has a hip replacement in Ichilov around April 2022. The elder one brings opiates and tries to kill her with an overdose. I was there. I was lucky enough to, stop him and tell my mom, look, this is very dangerous, very addictive. Anyway, she didn't want any of the drugs. They took, or they also did on me, which I never signed, a medical guardianship around 2016. Decided I'm retarded, put narcotics in me, and might at that time, my parents, who were both English-speaking people, their level of Hebrew wasn't so good. My father always always used a lawyer, English lawyer, and had in the registry of the inheritance normally in English. But I guess he saw me having strokes. My teeth were falling. I couldn't speak. I was like completely like this around 2016. And I guess they made the will, which I never knew about it. I never knew about that will. Mark Baum, the witness in the will, got cash in the death of my father, got from Dan cash. Also, he got around 1 million shekel clientele. I'm not sure they even put the will of the father in the registry, just the will of the mother. Okay, she had a rape proposal, tried to poison her. Then from 2021, they didn't show what was going on in the bank. The banker is the blonde one. He took over the bank. He had some kind of a Hebrew that is, I don't know, a financial magician or something like that. My late father, was an accountant, a very bright person. The 6 million shekels is missing from her bank. Now, let's go to the evidence. Just want to say something. In January 2023, you can see withdrawals all the way. January 2023, without my knowledge, they signed her when she's mute, paralyzed. She was already completely, hasn't spoken for half a year, couldn't speak half a year, and she couldn't move. Everything was going she was diagnosed by a neurologist as a very advanced ALS. And the lawyer, Arik, said in court, which they didn't, expose before, he said she initiated, a woman with a very bad Hebrew, initiated an ongoing power of attorney on herself. She was mute. She was exploited to sign this document. We are talking about clause 435 in the penalty law. We're talking about clause 300 murder, 301 aggravated murder to conceal, and we're talking about all the chapter 11 in the penalty law of theft and robbery. Now I want to show it. Share screen. I'm going into the restriction order, the last document I have given to the court. Okay. So first of all, this is ALS. I'm reading out loud. Findings, let's go to the conclusions. Conclusions. In addition, in repetitive nerve stimulation of 3 hertz, a mild stimulatory response was seen. These findings are compatible with motor neuron disease. So usually motor neuron disease is ALS, but you can also have if they poison them with narcotics, for instance, antidopamines might cause a full paralyzation of a person and inability to speak well. A differential diagnosis might be severe motor neuropathy. A neuromuscular transmission disorder is less likely since CMAP amplitude of the annular nerve. So, I mean, they might have poison there, but all her symptoms were like ALS. Now, I'm just showing, this is from January 2023, okay? That's 22nd of January 2023, completely mute and paralyzed. Now we're going into She died on the 6th of March. We draw all those money. We draw all of money. Every day we draw of cash. They're not allowed to do a thing like that. This is, I think this is me. Of February, I transferred for my expenses of the home. Also my sister. No, this is not me. They took back. They gave back to me at first. Anyway, I donated to my mother, and they gave it back 2,000 shekels. They withdrew money. Another. You can see here. Another every day. 7,000, 2,000. She was completely 10,000 here in January. This is stealing. This is nothing allowed here. This shows that they want to show another thing. So I'm also getting threats. This guy who used to trade with Hezbollah. This is all the beating up. Got beaten. The social worker says I was beaten up. Violence towards me. Tried to kill me, dispel me from my house that I was living in. This is they sent a sabotager. I took a witness called Uri Oenfeld. They actually tried to, anyway, 10 o'clock at night, that Kobe Cohen, a guy without a bank, without invoices, was roaming and coming in, breaking an entrance into my house as if he was this is from the banker. I'm asking him show me the bank account, and he's holding narcotics. This is stuff that they made you can get into ALS from this. It's called antidopamines. So, I mean, they might have given it to my mother as well. It's very, very, very harsh. Again, I'm saying, give me. Yeah, he's trying to. I mean, this is, and here I also get calls from people. I'm not. They say they're psychiatrists, but they ask them for their ID, and they hang up the phone. They say they come in and take me. I have a new thing in the new case file, and this is another threat for my life to be decapitated. A lot of falsely claims that they've done. They said, "Oh, she's wasteful. She doesn't know how to control." And again, I'm an accountant. It's the highest degree in finance. The highest. My parents wanted. I was very talented in other things like sports, like computing. My parents wanted me to be into finance. My parents didn't want them to make a trust on me, and as you can see, they never intended to make a trust. They never learned the law. They never learned what the innocence of heart means, what bookkeeping means. They're not running any bookkeeping. They're using it. They also claim we are needy families. You're not needy families. You just I didn't get 3.5 million shekels. They just got 3.5 million shekels. They said they need the money to get, 3.5 shekels. This is not the meaning. You need to preserve and enlarge the funds. Now, for 20 years or even more, from the 80s, there was a rent in Eilat. That was making rent, accepted the rent for my parents. In 2021, both of them, the Muslim and the bankers, went to my mom and they said, "Look, we need," because the Muslim is a real estate agent. He said, "Look, I can't find the people to rent to. We need to renovate a bit." So they took 100,000 shekels, they renovated, took the keys to themselves, didn't find people to rent, but they started using that flat. They could, and it's not the Houthim. It's not the Houthim and nothing. We are talking about 2021. My mom didn't. They brought her in to clean. And then they couldn't find rent, and a banker used it as a vacation resort, you know. And also this claim now that they want to expel me from their home. Look, you have plenty of assets. You can start you could have started liquidating. You have a car that you wanted to give me, and the banker didn't let her give it to me. You have there's a flat in Elat. You want to sell something? Sell the flat in Elat. No, we want to start. We have a buyer. And they said, we have a buyer. The Arik, the lawyer, who signed her, who made the arrangement to sign her on an ongoing power of attorney, had a buyer. I paid 55,000 shekels to negotiations. I said, look, I'm leaving the house. Just don't get near me. Don't get near me. My mom said that they're trying to kill her for the money. And only when she died, I realized why. They put this will in front of me. And I said, okay, I paid a lot of money. I was willing to leave the house. I did 2 negotiations. One before the Arik went and submitted the will into the register. And also afterwards, they said, and they were supposed to reveal the assets and the documents. They didn't want to do it. And till now, only when the judge made a court order, I was able. And also the bank where he was working didn't want to give me the data. Only when I started suing the head of the bank, this conglomerate, said, Pino, I got all this. And you can see walking around, it's credit card theft, what is known as credit card theft. Okay, that's it. And she was completely paralyzed.